Officially, good afternoon. Happy Friday. Welcome out. Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. My name is Scott. I will be your host. As always, keep in mind what we do is for education, illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do or say should be considered or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial security or product. No investment advice because we're not brokers and we're not investment advisors, yada, yada, yada. What are we going to do? Today's market, okay, not great. Took a loss. Looking at some things, right? Talk about it. We'll see how we feel. Overall, things have been great. I'm not going to be too worried about it. So we'll look at today's market. We'll revisit what we think our posture will move to preemptively. We always just like to have a little bit of a look. Why? Because I think that is useful managing trades. If I look at my trades and I'm like, oh yeah, this posture is probably going to drop half a point, 3/4 of a point, I'm more inclined to take some gains, shut things down, right? If I look at my posture, I'm like, you know what, we're going to hold up, or we're going to even go up a quarter, half a point. That's what we did last time, and we held, and everything we held made more money. So it's, that's what we're thinking about here. It looks like a new Duncan. Are you new, or have you showed up and I didn't notice? Either way, welcome. Glad to have you. I always try to see, but as we get bigger and bigger, it's harder for me to remember and recognize. It's one of my concerns was that I like that informality we tend to have here. Anyways. Okay. So yeah, mindset for trades being carried over the weekend. Removed all stops this morning on open. Doing fine now. Yeah. Right? Or you remove it, wait. You remove it, you wait, and then you say, oh, you know what? Like Rivian, for example, where you're just like, nope. I didn't stop out. I'll tell you what, I looked. The absolute worst price of the day was on the open. Absolute worst. I don't know. Maybe it's different now, but anyways. Beautiful. Duncan, welcome. We're glad to have you. Pop your questions in. It's a very welcoming, accommodating group. They love to help onboard new folk into the fold, to the tribe. People call it different things. I call it a best friends club. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but try to have a good time on Fridays. Are some people drinking? I don't know. Okay. Driven. Yes. Okay, what are we looking for next week? Just kind of talking about it, right? Like, we're sort of not quite sure what we're looking for, to be fair. Opportunity list, trading plan progress. Wrapping up section 5. We're on the tail end of this round on the trading plan loop. Don't worry, we'll loop again. And there's Rivian, right? You can kind of see we're still holding support. We're not afraid of a hiccup. Not afraid of a hiccup. What are we afraid of? We don't accept breaking support. That's a violation. One of my just most useful common sense rules says, if the original reason for getting in a trade is no longer valid, get out. Yeah, it's good advice. If the original reason is no longer valid. What does that do? That stops a lot of, I'll tell you from conversations over and over the years, where it's like they started in the trade for one reason and then all of a sudden it's like shifting to another reason and then a different reason. It's like, wait a second. Why'd you take this trade in the first place? Support. New support at old resistance. That was the primary factor. New support at old resistance. A bounce trade. We got the candle. Started to turn. God, first 2 days, it wanted to. And then it hiccuped. And if you're going to panic every time it hiccups, boy, I'll tell you what, you would lose a lot of really good trades that we've seen in the last 6 months. A lot of them have hiccuped. Right? You've all seen it. So we know we can't just summarily be scared that there's a hiccup in the trade. Like, oh no, it didn't go. Of course, right? That's stage 2. We don't know. Hopefully it goes the right way right away. Sometimes it does. Other times it hiccups, it sits. Other times it goes the right way quickly and then it sits like Morgan. I mean, we see all things. And what do? We be water. We adjust, adapt, and manage. So, did you close it? Is the question. I did, yes. Took the loss. Take the loss. My feelings are not hurt. I'm not sad. I am sad. Of course I am. I don't like to lose still. That was one of the biggest things for me. Getting one of the most detrimental things to me was I have a very competitive nature. I don't like to lose. Very difficult. That's very difficult quality in trading. You better get good at losing quickly and comfortable. In fact, that's what I actually had to do. I had to turn it into a competition where I'm like, better at taking losses than you. Right? No. Okay. Done. Gone. Wrap it up. Take the loss. Move in. Okay. Start with the loss. It's a talent. Thank you. Or maybe you were talking about yours and I'm working on mine. No, I'm just kidding. It's hard. That was hard for me. Boy, everything's just sort of kind of falling apart now. Let's just go through the list. Well, actually, no. We'll find the talent of walking like nothing. Yeah, okay, let's start with the SPY. It opened down. Went worse. Got back. Recovered. Came back. Okay, so let's play a little game. This is a 3-month chart. You don't know what symbol this is. You don't know what's going on in the news. There's an old trader. He was interviewed in the original Market Wizards book. His name is Bernard Baruch. Baruch. Bernard Baruch. Old school, Anyway, he wouldn't let people in his firm look at the news. And he said, a famous quote, he said, "Show me the chart and I'll tell you the news." What's the news? Good? Bad? Indifferent? What's the news? What do I see? Because if we don't care, right? We don't care. What do you mean? The news, I can't tell you specifically. And I don't care and I don't need to be able to tell you specifically. What I can tell you is whatever the news is not that bad. This was strong back here. I was still quite strong coming out of our recovery, our V recovery. Higher high. Pulled back. Higher low. Now firmly above the 50, although we held the 50 even back here. Buyers come in, a little pause. Some more buyers. Some more buyers. And all of a sudden, that's another higher high. That's a higher high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So last week when we were here, we were like, you know what? We're kind of stuck. This week, what happened? Now, I got to be careful because the trend it's establishing is not that strong. Remember, we said we are going to think about our posture. So, shit. Where is it? Sorry, give me a second. Let me grab it here. Nope, that's not it. Webinars, back one. Welcome to the mess of my desktop. Onboarding docs, and there it is. Whew. Goodness gracious. APH. Nope. We'll come to you. You wait your turn. Wait a second. I'm missing a week here for some reason. Shoot. How did that happen? I think it stayed the same though, right? Does anyone have last week's posture? No, I went up a quarter point somewhere. What? Why is that not saved? 6, 8. That was the same. Did my sector? I think the VIX. Does anyone remember? I'm going to put it in the VIX. 0.75. That went up a quarter point. That's what I think I have. I'm going to get ready for Sunday. Duncan, I hope you can make it on Sunday. It is a special Father's Day edition where everybody will be consoling me because my daughter left me on a trip. She won't be here. I told her that we all expressed outrage to her actions. I don't know if she feels bad or not. We'll see if she left a good present or not. Anyway, Sunday edition, Father's Day edition. I hope you all can make it. 1.25. I think we could go to a 1.5. I think that feels 1.5-ish to me. So yeah, I think that we are going to get a quarter point there. That feels good. Whatever else happened this week, we got to a higher high. This pullback, if the volume, and I do think this is going to be this, we're going to get a quarter point there. We're going to lose a quarter point on volume. That's what I think. Let's look at the volume. That's an important one. Let me move this to the other side. Comment if you have any, question if you have any. This is going to drop off. So now what? Now we have 1, 2, 3 buy days that are really getting stale. Those all fall next week. So as we score it, typically we tend to discount what's getting stale. With it, 1, 2, 3, 4 buys, 1, 2, 3 sells. With it, it's a 3, 4, 4 tie. Now, as we start to lose that next week, what do we have? 1, 2, 3 sells, 1 buy, 3 ties. That takes kind of a nasty turn between what we'll see on Sunday and what comes the next week if no new volume comes. I'm a little leery of that. And in preparation, I don't know. Even now, 3, 4, 4, I think that's going to drop back. That's almost a tie. It's barely not a tie. I think I'm going to let mine ease back a quarter of a point. So I think I'll gain it here, lose it here. These are hard to know. The sectors felt pretty good this week. I could see us getting a quarter point there. I'm waiting for that to come. I went from a 3.25 to a 3.5. Okay, that's what happened. Sorry. VIX. Let's go look at our VIX today. Let's go see that VIX. Oh, goodness. Make you want to carry your hedge a little longer if you have it? Sure does. Let me open this back up to 6 months. No, too far. it was a lower low. There was nothing here, but we're spiked pretty fast. Still under this high, both body and shadow. So if all of a sudden on Monday we see this thing kind of pause here and then roll back over, yeah, it looks great. What do I think that would correspond with from the SPY? Let's go look. I think it would correspond with this. We start to doji here, and then we turn. Now go back to what I had said. We just saw a higher high, and then if it pulls back, what would this be? That's a higher low, almost in a bull flag pattern, which I find to be very bullish. And I think we're absolutely making a run. And with it being this close, 613, I think we're making a run for new highs. Yes, no, maybe. What do you think? If we see this type of a turn next week, again, don't think, well, what about this news and this tariff and this? I don't care. What do you see? That's what I see. What do you see? Am I right? Am I wrong? Give it to me. It does feel like this is going to be a sell day. Right now, we are at 65 million shares. 70 is average. Yeah, 100%. We're going to get, I would say, let's go look at the last 15 minutes. In the last 3 days, I bet the average is at least 8 to 10 million shares, which means that would push us over the top. Let's go see. The last 15 minutes yesterday, 5 million. Okay, I was a little off. 5 million. 1.6. So we'll say 7 million in the last half hour there. We'll say 7 million there. Yeah, we're going to get at least 7 million shares trading. I kind of overinflated it, but even still, 7 million. Right now we are at 65. Get to 70. I think I bet we get to 75. What does it need to be? 73, 74. Anything above 74, I think would hit what would be. On paper and fundamentals, yes, makes sense. Maybe, Lee. Hey, Lee. Iran has me worried. Got it. Yeah, so we'll talk about what are we carrying, what are we keeping. Posture's going to stay, I think, in the threes. That's a nice, slightly bullish area. Coming out of this little V, feels pretty good still to me. Start at the top, work our way down. Apple. There's nothing at Apple for me. I'm never going to stop watching it though because it's Apple. ABBV. If you like healthcare and you like this one, what would we think? That if it pulls back this week, it would turn into a new trade. It's hitting some resistance. There's nothing there now. Amazon setting up. Who just traded this and wants to trade it again with me? I think it was Miguel. Anyone else? This is great. That was a great move. Little hiccup. Regained itself pretty quick. Boom. Made the move. Now what? Yeah, I'd say right through there is a good zone where I think even now it starts to turn and pop out of there. This will be beautiful. Higher low, which helps support the strength of the trend. Amazon is also a leader in the consumer discretionary space. All of that makes me want to look at this for a trade early next week. I would say beautiful setup, looking great. Looking great. APH. Yeah. Nobody likes a hiccup. But it's hiccuping. Is it breaking support? No, not for me. I'm holding. Don't love it. What do I love? I love that my posture is going to stay stable in a bullish area. I feel like that what I'm seeing on both the VIX and the SPY, even with the news that we have, supports ongoing bullish. There's nothing about that at all that we're seeing that has me like, oh, the sky is falling. No. And I have a hedge. BAC, pulling back, setting up if you like it. Caterpillar, setting up if you like it. All of these. What do we just have? We had what we thought was a potential signal. Hiccup. Hold on. In fact, we even said, people said, well, is that a valid? Yeah, you could trade coming out of a hiccup if you missed the original. And then it made a move. A great move? No. A profitable move? Profitable move? Yes. Enough that we would then think, give me another higher low and I'll trade again. Looking for it to really get up into, you'll notice I'm not like, all right, now we're heading to 410. 380 to 385. Beautiful. Beautiful. Press says my take, and I'm always interested in Press's take, is that it held relatively well considering the news. Agreed. Tough decision on Friday. Mideast war. Yeah, it is. It's hard to it's hard because you want to overthink it. I do still. You know, I was funny story. Okay, we're not going to put a trade on. So, the year was 2008. It was around the Olympics. I remember, and I was in Las Vegas, and I was teaching an event on trading psychology and risk management, of course, in all places, Las Vegas. Anyways, and the it was an interesting time because it was right before a recession, and you know, it just has me think back to like what has us thinking versus seeing versus feeling, and how does that transpose into our psychology? Because we're always going to go back to wanting to overthink it. So I'm doing this presentation on risk management, trade management, and the thought process, and tell me if it resonates still. But what I was talking about is the concept of getting comfortable feeling discomfort, right? Like, you know, like, this doesn't feel right. This feels uncomfortable. And the analogy I gave, when I was in high school, I climbed to the top of the Grand Tetons. It was like a church group, and we went to the top of the Grand. It was very cool. Amazing weather. One of the things you did on the way back is you did a rappel off of, it was like a 200-foot cliff, right? You did this rappel. And if you've ever rappelled, you know that for the way that like the gear and the carabiners work, you have to basically stand on the edge of this cliff and turn, right? You turn so that your back is 200 feet. Even when it's down, it's like anyway. Yeah, right. What is your all your self-preservation instincts? You're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. And then it gets worse. In order for it to work, where you're like jumping and like, you're floating down and jumping and then landing and jumping, you have to lean back and get yourself perpendicular, right? You're leaning back. You're like, your whole body is like, no. And then once you get past it and you have the ability, it took me like 3-4 jumps to get to the very bottom. And I'm like, do it again. But we had a kid in our group and we're like, lean back. And he's like, I am. He was squatting. Like he just couldn't get his mind past it. And when you jump, the rope doesn't work and you smash back into the rocks, right? And it's like, to do it right, you've got to accept this feeling of discomfort. This like, you know, you're something in you's like, this doesn't make sense. And then some part of you rationally has to be like, it doesn't have to. What do you mean makes sense? This is there's a beautiful book called Uh, oh gosh, popular delusions and the madness of crowds. Something popular delusions and the madness of crowds, and it's about bubbles and how they've existed. Irrational popular delusions and the madness of crowds. Anyways, and they've existed forever. That what it basically says is there will be a herd always. Right, it even goes back to like Beanie Babies, and it's like people were willing to pay these outrageous sums for a stuffed animal that no one cares about anymore. And how does that happen? How does someone pay, $3,000 for one tulip bulb? One bulb? What? Like, you're like, no way someone did that. Who knows what stories they will tell of crypto and what people paid for some digital coin at some point. We're like, what you did what? Anyways, pet rocks. And there it is, press, right? It literally is ignore your instincts. There's this amazing quote from a book called Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. It's like a 100-year-old book, even more, about like, how you have to fight. It's the Nobel Prize winning study in the 1980s by gosh, I'm forgetting all my names these days, you guys. He wrote a book. You're like, of course he did. Prospect Theory. Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. I'm pulling them out. Daniel Kahneman, he wrote a book recently called Thinking Fast and Slow. Amazing stuff to just kind of think like thin slice, thick slice. And you think, I need more information. And then you actually don't make better decisions, even though you think you're going to. Anyways, 80 to 85% of people are predisposed to cutting their losses short, letting their winners run. When I took the quiz, that's exactly who I was. You have to fight those instincts, right? We are naturally oriented into... Kevin put it up. Kahneman, thank you. I saw his book just the other day. I'm like, ooh, Thinking Fast and Slow. But we have to orient ourselves around that thought process of, fascinating stuff. It's really, really interesting how much self-sabotage there is. And if we can just sort of, it's that, I love that they talk to this Japanese gardener. They're like, what do you do to make your plants grow? And he's like, I don't do anything. I just remove the impediments, right? That's it. With trading, it's not the methods, the rules, the everything we do. It's not that hard. What happens is we think it's hard, so we make it hard, and we self-sabotage over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, just if we can get those impediments out of the way, we'll actually do better, right? Isn't that a funny analogy? The tulip analogy. People are baffled when they hear that. So back to what's going on. Caterpillar setting up. Empirically, what do you see here? Everyone's like, so there's Iran and there's this and there's that. The institutions know more than I do and you do. They have more people that work for them. They're smarter than us. They have more, and they feel fine. If they don't, the VIX will spike and we'll adjust. Fine. We'll adapt when that happens. Until that happens, I'm setting up for trades. Right? I mean, got a tough decision to take that or keep that. Take some, keep some. I don't know. CLS, I feel better now because I got a good chunk of this at 125.65. No, that was I'm marking my line way too high. 125.65 is back in this area, but I got it and then it went higher and now it's all the way back and below that. So, okay, I can live with that. What are you going to do there? And the next setup, the second that this good trade is stopping out, the next trade is setting up. The horse just ran and won. We do not shoot those horses after they win races for us. We feed them, we rest them, and we get ready to run them again. Let's go, right? Well done. Let's go. I'm amazed how many times people miss the next trade. I'm like, what? Did you just not keep watching it? You just had this amazing trade. The next one's right there, ready to go again. Just like if you had this one, you took this one. I'd rather go to the one too many than one too few. Why? Because I have a positive expectancy. CME, yeah. That's a tough one right there. Tell me if you decide. Cisco setting up. Boom. Higher high. Now sitting in a full cup provision. Here's the handle. I don't know if this is what it's going to do, but I do know this. If it does, I will trade it. And some of you will trade it with me. That's what I know. Delta. I didn't take that one, and I got to tell you, that one took a little beating there. I'm actually going to drop it at this point. There's no reason to keep watching any like sub-level consumer discretionary stocks. A little bit of a dust up. We'll run some searches. So Tuesday is search day. Tuesday night, we will definitely run some searching on consumer discretionary and whatever else we see. Took it back here and got out on this day before it dropped too far. That's what I hope. As I retrospectively analyze it. I get that it's retrospective. I'm not. EA. I know, but we learned, if nothing else. I did not take this. We talked a little bit about it. I didn't feel like that was, the right call. Patience. Flex setting up. It's not moving phenomenally well, but I would say it's real close to a kind of that cup and handle formation. GE Vernova, I thought that was interesting. It's still kind of in a hiccup, though. I would actually say this to me was valid. Your stochastics turned. I don't know if anyone took it, but if you did, I think that's valid. And right now, I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you did it now. I'd be like, yeah, it's still valid. It's in a hiccup. And if it hiccups and hiccups and hiccups and turns, and I have a chance to take this here at a lower point than this confirmation day, confirmed relative to these days, yes. Yes for me. Thoughts? Who would join me in that delightful pursuit? Bob Walker's in. Bob Walker. Okay. I knew Miguel would be in. Gold. Did anyone go? I have to think Glenn was talking about some gold setups. So Google. Yeah, come on down. You're the next contestant. Next contestant on The Trade is Right. I missed it. Sold gold at morning peak. Round of applause for Press and his trading prowess. Here's the deal. Especially on Fridays, especially in our crew. I have to demand it almost, but I want brags. I tell you that I judge people sometimes. Look, we start with losses. We start with but here I want some brag sometimes. So if you did one well, I want to hear it. Put it out there so we can all bask in it. What else? So I think this looks nice. You can see that it's kind of settling in there. It may play around a little bit, and then if it starts to go, I think, next stop for me is really getting back. Where is this? 190? 190 seems like a pretty reasonable place from down here. Anyways. What time is it? 1:40. Yeah, we're doing well. This is a good Friday. People are missing out. This seems light. This is a good Friday to talk about things. It's not that bad. That's the takeaway. Don't let the news create the hysteria that we know is always going to try to do. It's always going to. There's another one, Hilton, like Delta, off the list. If it's going to be consumer discretionary, it's not going to be travel and leisure. Travel and leisure. I consider myself a man of leisure. Took $3 profit Google. Bing, bring it up. Bring it up. Well done. Yeah, Hilton doesn't look good. It's off the list. You're off the island. You're done. We're done with you. Robinhood, on the other hand, I believe that this pennant is still at play. We saw this and we were unconvinced, rightly so, and the pennant is still at play. I still think it's a very bullish stock. I want you to notice that the pennant is forming where? On top of the cup. On top of the cup. A real quick shout out to my man PJ. PJ, no waiting room. Right in. You asked for it. I answered. PJ was instrumental in my reorg. Kareem popped in. No problem. No problem. You're not late. You're right on time for you. This is when you needed to come. Robinhood, put it on the list, I think. Howmet. That looks enticing to me. Thoughts? Howmet for a nice higher high, little pullback. It's sitting in here. That looks really enticing. The stochastics is like, ooh, if I was a 5.5, I might take this one prior to the weekend rather than wait for the confirmation. But I'm not, so I'm going to be patient. IBM, and you had 2 days to take it at its maximum profit target of 281. I did not get it there. I got it to 275. I lost a little faith in my own trade. I'm like, yeah, we don't need to. It's only 2 days behind. I've got to reflect on this and take a little accountability where I'm like, why'd you do that, Scott? That's on you. Who took it to 281? Please brag. Someone do it. So I have to be a little bit, hold my head in shame. Nobody? Now I feel even worse because I feel like I influenced that. Someone lie and tell me you carried it to 281. Lie and be like, of course I did, Scott, and you should have too. Yeah. Daniel Kahneman would be very disappointed in me. 2,800K off it. Okay, fine. Still, somewhere Daniel Kahneman is shaking his head. All right. Now what? Setting up. Am I wrong? There's a flag. And if it's not a flag, there's a pullback. I will take either one of those. Ready to go. 218 to 1021. Kevin is a champion. Kevin is our version of Tom Basso. His nickname was Mr. Serenity. That's what we're all trying to be. Let it just relax. Be fine. Relax. Small caps. I really feel like small caps still look bullish, even though they're down 2% today on volume. A lot of volume on the small caps. Not phenomenal. Oh. Woo. Man, that was a nasty. Ooh. Both of them. Goodness gracious. Meta. So I got to tell you, what we saw here is telling us, I'm not going to stop watching him. I'm going to keep watching both of these because I'm interested in the group. But yeah, there's nothing here for us. Nothing here for us. There's a lot here for us. This looks fabulous. I think that the next move is going to test the old highs up here at 740. And I've got all the way back here to 660 for this thing to find its footing. It's going to be above the 50. It's going to be above the old high. This looks magical. I should check my inbox. I feel like Meta's going to be sending a preview email of just sort of checking in. You ready? Because I'm ready. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I'm ready too. Absolutely. Done. Just got a VR set, Meta. Did you get the Meta set? Because, so here's the deal. I went with my family to a Meta, like one of the big ones, you know, where you're like in the room and everyone has like full gear on, and we fought a bunch of zombies. It was just absolutely amazing. We were actually thinking about doing that again. But I was like, looked into them, and they have them at home, and I'm like, gosh, I told my wife I want to get us sets, and she'd have to play with me at home. You think of things to do when you're empty nesters, you know what I mean? But I was like, so tell me which is if you did the research, I don't want to have to. Tell me the best one. I'm thinking Christmas this year, maybe, you know? Anyway. I'm done. It's kind of a little mini cup and handle. So I closed overall profitable, but anyway, hardly. The Meta's way cheaper. Apple, ooh, you got the Apple Vision Pro. That's like 3 G's, yeah? Maybe more? 4? I don't know. No, I don't want something like that. I want like $300-400. Okay. It's still viable for the next trade. Like, just because this one was a little bit disappointing. If you remember what happened, let's reflect. We got our signal on this pop, and then it hiccuped, and we stayed, and then it moved, and then it just sort of never really did anything and pulled back. But with the time decay, and now it being a Friday, I don't see it. I don't see holding it. I'm going to wait, see if we stabilize through here. What do we got? What do we turn? If I take this one, I think it breaks the cup. You'll notice if it breaks the cup, it gives me the next piece. This is the trade where I'm looking for the old high. Absolutely. 100%. Why wouldn't I? Why not? Is the question I have for you. Apple, next best. Best bang for your buck is Meta. Done. Meta it is. Microsoft. If it actually gives us something to latch onto, if it just does one of these little, like, you know, even this was tough because it was a little volatile even on the entry. It was like 4%. I can't remember. We'll see. Netflix. It's all set up, ready to go. Meta just took 49% ownership of Scale AI, which provides the data and the language models. Major advantage. Very cool. Thank you for the information, press. NVIDIA. Setting up possibly, but I didn't have anything there. PLTR is just kind of testing these highs. So if you're in it, it's giving you a chance, but that's not an entry. MSTR for the chips. Okay. Hold the hiccup. Engulfing. That's fair. That's fair. For me, what this gives you the ability to do going into next week is no longer think here or even here, but now really start to think in this range with that engulfing, especially if you get any little action above it. And that's helpful, right? I think that's helpful. Where was I? Philip Morris. Looks fine. It looks fine. This is a defensive balancing trade. We're not going to panic here. Looks bullish. No problem. Relax. PBR, my good friend. Always Petro Brazil reminds me of college. I don't know why. Woo, looks good. What makes you ask if I was really poor in college? Of course I was. Who wasn't? That's it. Cup of noodles, Totino's pizzas, and PBR college. Press knows. He's of that generation. He knows what it was. Actually, on Saturdays and Sundays, it was RC Willie for free hot dogs for lunch. I'm just saying, man. Oh, goodness. My kids have no idea. They're so spoiled and soft. Okay. My wife and I talk about it a lot. We raised a little bit of soft kids. They're like they do all right, but they're soft. Where was I? My ADD's kicking in. It's Friday afternoon. PBR. Okay, Rivian. That's why I don't want to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. Roblox. Oh, that was an interesting one. It was just, I thought about it there, and then it chopped around, and then it opened here, and it ended here. If you took it, I like it. I didn't end up pulling it. Rivian, closed it. Yeah, what do you do with the dog? It's a sick dog. We shoot it. It's sad. We don't like it. But we have to do it. Rocket Labs. It's a little bit too much. I'm kicking it off the island. Just that fast. It's not a staple. If it does that, we're done. SPY is finishing more towards the lows today, whereas our volume is we're 5 minutes from close. We're already at 77, so we are above average. It's ready to go. Tesla. I don't know. So here's my thought at this point. Did it have a hard consolidation and is now done enough to have broken back where a higher low is actually a good trade? Technically, maybe. Some stocks I just don't trade, and this is one of them. I feel like I just don't keep a clear mind on it for some reason. TSM looks phenomenal. That is a beautiful looking flag setup. And if it doesn't flag, we've got quite a bit of room that it could actually pull back and still set up for a nice trade. My thought would be at least making a run to the old high. Probably not necessarily through it, though, but we'll see. I think that one looks good for chips. I think we have some actually quite strong setups going into next week. I think our posture is going to hold up. Uber. It was a little bit more than like a hiccup. It had enough of a move to kind of be like you'd want to close it and then maybe reestablish. I don't know. That's my initial thought. Visa beat up mightily. Recovering from the lows, pairing losses, but still pretty nasty. Messed up on Uber. Great. What information did you pay for? That's all you need to know. What information did you pay for? I'll expect a 3 to 4 page report summarizing your findings within 3 days of closing the trade. Ooh, two of you. I'm gonna do a comparative report. Just I don't know. Actually, press. I was gonna go do a little research as well. Real nasty in the credit sector. AXP, bad but not as. What's Discover Card? Is it? I never can remember Discover Card. Anyone remember Discover Financial? DFS. DFS looks fine. DFS looks like it's in a cup and handle. I'm going to kick off MasterCard or Visa for now. I'm only going to watch one of them. I don't need both. I'm going to let the group decide. First two, Visa or MasterCard. Which one do we keep? Keep. Who was acquired by Capital One? No one wants to vote. Discover was. Oh. It doesn't look like it. Are we sure? Oh, today. There you go. All right, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to just hold off and watch both for a minute. Capital One is Capital One Financial, COF. Capital One seems to be faring the best from this whole deal. Let's add that to our list. How about that? We're not going to watch DFS getting bought, but there we go. Where were we? The VIX still kind of spiking a little bit. But we said when it spikes to 20 or low 20s, that's not that bad. That's still a lower high if we stabilize out of this. Walmart. No, I'm going to keep watching it, but I'm not going to trade it. There it is. That's the watch list. Don't forget, you have a few more days to work on your routines. What do we need to have? What time? For how long? List the routines and then prioritize them. Bam. Routines daily, before market, during market, after market. If your day's busy, you might only have the ability to do one or the other or some of them. Have your weekly routines. That's the core. Monthly and quarterly we can get to. Right? You can get your score up to an 8 out of 10 with absolutely nothing in your monthly or quarterly rules. Nothing. Eventually, though, you need to touch on those. Okay. What's the takeaway? The takeaway for me is relax. It's not that bad. I'm expecting the market posture to hold up. I'm expecting to move forward from there. Where do we find this document? Jose Ortiz. Let me show you, my friend. In Circle. You have a few different places that you can go. You can go to group downloads or links. So if you go here to group downloads under alerts and resources, although this should just now be alerts got moved up, so I should just say resources. Group downloads. Trading plan outline is here. This is your blank copy. Sample trading plan. This is a completely fleshed out version that gives you, a starting point that you could use. This is a blank market posture log. This is a blank stock log that looks like, I don't have one, sorry. Option log, top 10 trading mistakes. This is the current watch list updated recently. And this is a posted but updated more recently than this. It's actually not that far back. If you click on that, you can get our, so all the things that we do is in here. And then also you have the links to get like, what do we use? You have learning courses and all kinds of other stuff. So yeah, anyways, thank you for asking that, Jose. I appreciate it. Always a good opportunity to show everybody what's available. Because sometimes it's easy to be like, we meet, we talk, we have trade alerts. Oh, I got to tell you, for me, there's a shit ton more, right? I think there's something like 40 plus hours here in these courses for you. If you want options, you'll hear me yapping about options. If you want to hear just some basic trading things. You can hear me. If you want to just put yourself to sleep, you can just kind of like turn it on, whatever. All available. So anyways, okay. It's good to see everybody. If I don't see you Sunday, happy Father's Day, you magnificent fathers. I hope you have a great day with your families. I hope you come hang out with me and listen to me wallow in my sadness that my daughter abandoned me. Anyways, she feels bad. I keep teasing her and she keeps feeling bad. I'm gonna keep doing it though. It's Father's Day, Miguel. Come on. I know your family's gonna do something nice for you. Thanks everyone for hanging out. It's good to process this with you as always. Have a great rest of your day. As always, happy trading.
Recording